Hi, and welcome to City Happenings. I'm Mayor David Black. Papillion continues to grow and offers much to its residents so they can live, work, and play. For more about Papillion, here's City Happenings.
Thanks, Mayor Black. A dedication ceremony for the new National Cemetery in Papillion is held at Sumter Amphitheater. The cemetery is located at Highway 50 and Schramm Road.
As I talk to the families of the fallen, one of the things that they always tell me, a common theme, is please don't forget the sacrifice that my loved one made. And so this Omaha National Cemetery will not only be a place that we can mourn for those who gave their lives for our country, but also remember and celebrate their sacrifice, their love of country, what they have done for us.
Congressman Terry, thank you for being here and thank you for your work on this entire project. I know that this initially was discussed years ago when I was a state senator, and I know that it takes a team, and I know that it takes an entire community and an entire state, so I'm grateful. My grandfather was a Navy Seabee in the South Pacific who inspired me into public service. And I thank each and every one of you. I see the folks lining the perimeter here with your flags, not only at this event, but other events. I salute you. I thank you for who you are and what you represent.
A cemetery is not only a place for proper disposal of the remains of our dead, it is a place where we give honor and pray for those who have given so much. But in our modern time, something very beautiful is also happening. And it's happening here today as we dedicate this important new national cemetery. It's also about remembrance. It's also about telling the stories of those who may have died in combat or those who were willing to serve our country as veterans. Let me also thank my colleague who served in the House, Congressman Lee Terry, for his steadfast work on bringing this day to fruition.
I can't tell you what a great honor it is for me to stand here and to acknowledge what you've done. I've had an opportunity to speak to many veterans since I've been here, many who served in World War II, and go to their homes and talk about their experiences. I also want to acknowledge Lee Terry. Lee Terry served in the United States House for 16 years. He always fought for veterans. And he is responsible to a great degree for this facility, for this cemetery, for this wonderful cemetery. Without his leadership and that of many others, we wouldn't be here today. So I want to acknowledge Lee for his efforts.
The stories are told at the funeral, at the grave sites, but they're also told when you go back home. And so grandfathers and grandmothers, pass along your stories to the next generation. And for those of you who don't have a story that you remember well, I want to suggest one. Some of you know the story of Sullivan Ballou, who fought in the Civil War, and the anniversary of his death was last week. And so at our family and with some other families of folks that we know where the dads are currently deployed, we've been reading in our house the letter that Sullivan Ballou wrote his wife before a troop movement in the middle of the Civil War, and he was ultimately killed before his wife received the letter. The letter that she received was a love letter. It's arguably the best love letter written in the history of the English language, but it's also his explanation to his wife, which she fully understood as she was sacrificing with him as their family was separated. It's his explanation of why, though he loves her and wants to be at home with her every moment, he needed to be deployed because of the fight that he was called to at that time. It's one of the most powerful things ever written in English, and it's a great way to teach your kids and grandkids about the sacrifice of all of you who've been deployed in the past.
No longer will our veterans have to look west to Fort McPherson or to Fort Leavenworth for their final resting place. We will no longer have to see our families travel long distances in order to share time and share memories and share prayers with their loved ones. And a special thank you to all the veterans, our men and women of our armed services who have served us. Thank you to you, thank you to your families for the sacrifices that you make each and every day to keep us and our country safe.
It has been an incredible experience for me to see how everyone in the Omaha area has come together to support veterans. This long journey has not been an easy one, but without continued support from the community, we would not be where we are at today. I am honored to be a part of the long and rich history of Nebraska and the history that is being made today as we dedicate the cemetery. Together, we will fulfill America's final promise to care for veterans and their families.
It is especially fitting that we dedicate a national cemetery here in this community, in the heart of America, where the roots of patriotism run deep, at a place that shares the iconic name of that hallowed ground far across the Atlantic. Today we continue our long and proud tradition of providing a dignified resting place to those who have worn the cloth of this nation, many giving the ultimate sacrifice in defense of freedom. In the years to come, let us honor the memories of the brave men and women who will be laid to rest in the sacred ground we dedicate today, described by the poet and Army officer Theodore O'Hara as your own proud land's heroic soil, where valor proudly sleeps.
Too few of us are entering the military today, and as a result, we see this potential for a military-civilian divide. We're working hard under Ron's leadership to create a legacy project where we take the stories of the veterans that are in our cemeteries and bring them to life, to help teachers, scout leaders, community leaders, and others inspire young people today about government service, about military service, based on the lives of the heroes that are in our national cemeteries. Let me echo Ron's thanks to Mayor Black for his generosity in helping us with this ceremony. We're grateful to the wonderful people of this community. It's strange, but while I was sitting there, Congressman Fortenberry leaned over and he said, "You have a butterfly landed on your shoulder." And I've noticed 5 or 6 butterflies in the audience. Je parle français. I was an exchange student from West Point to the Belgian Military Academy where they speak French, so I know the French meaning of the word of your city. These butterflies have honored us today, and I'm honored to be here.
The summer program, Police Academy for Kids, has been held for nearly 20 years. It shows no signs of slowing down.
And one of the great things is that it does keep growing. About 3 years ago, we had a group that we had 90 kids in. It was just too big to manage. So now we do 3 camps in the summer. We run between 55 and 65 kids in each one of those camps. And we're actually looking at maybe adding a 4th camp next year if the numbers keep coming in.
The program's curriculum has not had to have many changes.
Curriculum has been pretty solid from day one. There are some things we've tweaked over the years. We've kind of done like a survey to see what the kids really enjoyed most or what they got out of the presentations. And so we stick with our K-9 unit coming in. We have Officer Goldie, who's one of the top handlers probably in the Midwest. Been doing a long time, has an outstanding dog. We bring him in and they get a chance to see that dog work, sniff out drugs, and they get to ask all the questions they want about the great life of being a dog handler.
Other real-life situations are introduced.
We bring in the Juvenile Justice Center. They bring somebody in here to talk about, because the kids always have all these questions about who ends up in the juvenile justice, or the kiddie jail they call it, and what happens there when they get there, and what's life like day to day, and what are the rules, and what do kids do to end up in there, and how did they work their way back out of there. They have all these questions, so we bring in somebody from the Sarpy County Juvenile Justice Center. They give a presentation, they talk about the ankle bracelets, all the equipment, and answer all their questions. They really, really always seem to enjoy that one.
There's never a lack of attention grabbing.
We also bring in usually a member of our SWAT team. They get to see all the neat stuff on TV about SWATs. We bring one of our SWAT members in, and they get to show them some equipment, talk about what they do, talk about their training. And those seem to be the 3 most popular over all our years of having presentations. Seems to be the ones that the kids really have the most interest in. So we try to stick with that steady curriculum.
As for the response, there's one consistent theme.
The most common feedback we get is what a fun time they had. When we have them do those surveys, say what'd you like best or what do you want to improve on, there's always a group that picks everything we do, whether it's going to the pool, whether it's going bowling, or whether it's going to the movie. You always get a percentage, pretty even, that liked each one of those activities. I think the most overwhelming factor is, though, they had fun, and they always want to come back again. Can we come back next year? I had so much fun. And the parents will tell us the same thing. They came home talking about the canine demonstration. They came up at the end of the day, what was the one word they used? It was fun. And that's what we want to do. We want them to associate law enforcement with fun.
The local school district's Cooperation Best holds 2 events a year that bring together school administrators and local businesses and organizations. The annual breakfast kicks off the school year.
During this event, business partners and principals of buildings can meet, can reassess the beginning of the year, talk about goals for the year, as well as we like to thank our partners for those that have helped us with our summer success enrichment.
Summer school support is invaluable.
We tried to add an enrichment piece about 4 years ago, and we got our business partners involved. So some examples are the Sarpy YMCA will come in and do Zumba with the kids. Our martial arts partner, ATA Casabon Martial Arts, comes in and does martial arts for a little bit. Hy-Vee came in and did grocery cart races, healthy versus not healthy foods. So we do a variety of different businesses that are willing to help, and they take time out of their day, they come in, and this is kind of just a way to say thank you.
That's what's happening around Papillion. There are lots of ways to stay up to date with what's happening. You can find us on Facebook, follow the City of Papillion on Twitter, or even watch our YouTube channel. And of course, information about all of our departments and programs is available on our website. For more about Papillion, go to www.papillion.org or just call the Mayor's Hotline at 402-827-1111. Thanks for watching.